In this video, let's take a look at how to de-yellow some He-Man Masters of the Universe figures from Mattel. In front of me you can see I have a couple of Skeletors. The guy on the left actually is only partially yellowed. I'm going to use this as a sort of a base figure so you can see what happens to this guy on the right. This guy on the right has obviously sat out in the sun for quite a long time, and his chest has gone a particularly nice shade of green. Actually, you can see there the original shade of blue at the bottom with the sort of very yellowed bit on the back, and the front is pretty much all gone yellow. With He-Man Masters of the Universe figures, it's only the chest area that tends to get affected by the sun, so it's actually quite an easy process to go through and turn this back to a reasonable shade of blue. What you're going to need is some hydrogen peroxide, and I do this on the cheap, so you can actually buy this 6% hydrogen peroxide solution. A bottle of 6% like this costs £1. I've seen other people go for much higher percentage stuff, but that costs considerably more and you don't really need it. So the first thing we've got to do is take the arms and the head off this figure, because we're only going to try and bleach the body, and there's no point in sticking the rest of this figure inside hydrogen peroxide as it can damage it. So let's remove his arms and head. Right, so here we have the figure with his arms and head removed. You can only do this with the soft-headed figures. The hard-head figures, it's actually almost impossible to get the heads out without cracking and destroying the top of it. So I've only ever done this with the soft-headed versions. What you'll need is a jar. This is a pint glass here. This is ideal. Place your figure in it. You can see this guy fits perfectly in this pint glass, and then you need to add enough hydrogen peroxide to sort of get up to the top of his groin area. You don't want to cover any more than that, because the hydrogen peroxide can damage other bits of plastic. So I have some here in a jam jar from a previous job that I've been doing, so let's pour that in and up to the right level. Okay, that's just enough to cover his chest. So what we do now is this needs to go and sit in the sunshine in England it can take a couple of days because the sun's not very bright, but if you've got really nice bright sunshine you should be able to turn him back to blue within a single day, but this does all depend on how bright the sun is. So let's go and put this in the sun and we'll see how long it takes. The 6% hydrogen peroxide I use you can pick up at most chemists or pharmacies. It's used for mouthwash and sterilisation, so it's not sort of considered dangerous, although I have been asked a couple of times when buying it, because I bought a few jars in one go, what I'm using it for. So I generally say cleaning toys and they let you have it. I think if you buy stronger percentage stuff that's used for bleaching hair and things like that, it obviously costs more, and they do ask more questions, but this stuff is just good enough. It does the job, and so there's no point in spending any more money than you need. This stuff costs £1, so grab that. When you put your figures in the sun, you'll notice that the hydrogen peroxide starts bubbling. That's a good sign. That shows that it's all working properly. And the more it bubbles, the quicker it seems to work. And obviously, the stronger the sunlight, the quicker it seems to work as well. And once you've finished and you're happy with the colour that the figures have turned to, make sure that you wash them thoroughly afterwards. If you don't wash them properly, you tend to get a sort of white residue left on the plastic. It does rub off, but it's much easier if you clean it off at this stage. Right, and here you can see the final figure. On the left is my sort of control that I showed you at the start, and on the right was the very yellowed figure. As you can see, the chest has turned pretty much back to its sort of original shade of blue. There's still a little bit of yellowing on his shoulders. Sometimes if they're particularly badly damaged, then you can't actually get them back to completely the original colour, but you'll get them close enough. Compared to what this was originally, this is a much better figure. So I'll just put his arms and head back on, and we can do a sort of comparison. I'll show you a split screen of the original and post bleaching version. As you can see, he is pretty good. I'll do a split screen now so you can see before and after, and you'll notice that the colour change is pretty drastic. It works for most He-Man figures. Obviously some you do end up with a little bit of staining left, but you can take a really rough looking figure and make it look pretty reasonable with ease. And the hydrogen peroxide you can use more than once, so don't just throw it away at the end. I've been bleaching figures for a long time now, and the stuff lasts for sort of 20 or so goes before you need to replace it with some new stuff. So it's pretty good. But anyway, the end result, as you can see here, is impressive. Well worth doing, and you can do it on the cheap. So 99p is really all you need to spend, and your figures can look as good as this. Thanks for watching.